So I'd like to take 15 seconds right now for you to get your phone out and open up a web page, Currency.com. We've heard a lot this morning about regulation and the tokenization of assets. And I'm delighted to talk a little bit today about what we've done at Currency.com to create the world's first regulated tokenized securities exchange. So we'll talk a little bit about how we've done it and what we're offering. And I'd love to take a few questions. And I'm aware that you're all very hungry. So we'll try and get through this fairly quickly. Just a little bit about me. I've spent 15 years at a company building the technology for people to trade capital markets. We won lots of awards, and it's a really big global player. I come from a traditional financial markets background, regulated in 15 countries across the world. And we have taken this approach of the traditional markets and looked at the problems that people who are blockchain enthusiasts, investors, have faced, and we're all very aware that integrating with the traditional banking system is a massive blocker and barrier to wider adoption of crypto, and anyone who's worked in this industry and tried to get a bank account for their company knows what a challenge that can be. And so what we've worked on here is something that is designed to bridge the gap between traditional markets and investing in all of the companies you guys know, like Facebook and Amazon, and Alphabet or Google, and doing that using Bitcoin, Ethereum, and to be added other base currencies that you can use for your investments. Crypto continues to grow. I think we've been in a bear market for all of 2018. This week it suddenly got quite interesting again, with an increase in a lot of the bigger cryptos. And the crypto holder generally is quite fenced in within our financial systems. And this is a problem that we want to try to address. And for those people that have got used to trading ICOs, trading on exchanges, and then trying to move their crypto assets out of that exchange to do something else with them, often have faced a lot of problems. And so we've built an exchange that allows people to invest in fiat or invest in cryptocurrency and use that to invest in traditional markets. The route that we've taken, which is, I guess, quite different to a lot of the crypto exchanges that have existed to date, is to say that we want to provide people with opportunities to invest in assets that have income, that have revenue, that have stability, and have a significant opportunity for growing, and not growing in the shape that some of us have come used to on crypto exchanges when a new token gets listed. So we want to provide somewhere that is reliable, that is trusted, and where people can genuinely grow their wealth. And so what we've done is we've taken 150 of the world's biggest traditional capital markets, and that covers commodities, indices of the biggest markets in the world, and some of the biggest shares. And we made those available to crypto holders to invest in through our exchange. There's another big problem in the world of crypto, and we saw an exchange recently have a pretty bad PR with a founder who, it appears, has passed away in India somewhere. And this is a massive problem that we all face, and we all know how easy it is to knock up a website and put some nice text on there, and we've all seen a lot of viral campaigns get a lot of attraction and attention of a lot of people, and so trust is a really big issue, and this really is where we're moving into a time in the world of blockchain and crypto where regulation becomes important, and that's not where all this innovation has started. But it is where it's headed, and you can see now a lot of traditional financial services businesses are very interested in blockchain and the application of the technology, but they're also, from an exchange point of view, investing heavily in listing crypto assets. And I use the word crypto assets because that's another big problem that we've all faced in wider adoption and understanding, where people see this thing as just cryptocurrencies, and we all know it's way more than just cryptocurrencies. And people don't really understand that outside of the sort of 0.1% of people who are very close to what's going on. And of course, this leads to lots of things that the traditional finance world would deem to be misbehavior going on exchanges. So things like liquidity, things like volumes, things like being able to reliably get out of a position that you're currently in are all challenges that some of us will have experienced on some of the exchanges that are out there. And generally, the bigger exchanges have realized that these are really serious problems and they need to tackle them. But there are new exchanges all the time that crop up that end up somehow publishing stats on CoinMarketCap on volumes that are amazing. I don't know how they've grown their business that quickly. But again, this is another area where there's a bit of uncertainty. So this is one of the markets that we offer, gold and oil. So for the experienced investor, we've got a broad offering. So you can buy tokenized securities with us with no leverage. And if you're interested in more volatility and more leverage, then you can apply for an account with access to higher levels of leverage. And that depends on the different asset classes. With the really big global liquid markets offering up to 100 times leverage, shares offering a smaller degree of maximum leverage. As we touched on already, some of the markets that we're covering are the biggest shares in the world, along with commodities and indices. And the list of assets that we're adding to the platform is growing very rapidly. By the end of next month, we expect to be in the region of 2,000 assets listed on the exchange. So how do you use the platform? It's really quite straightforward. At the moment, the platform is launched as a desktop platform. We are writing the copy today to submit our application to get the mobile app listed in the App Store. So that will definitely be live this month. You heard it here first. That's an exclusive. And the mobile app we're launching, we believe, is going to address another need of crypto investors, where the crypto world has been used to a very desktop-centric trading environment. And what we see in most of the rest of the apps that we use is 90% of our usage is now on mobile. And we're using technology that has been built for our partner company, Capital.com, and has won many awards for its user experience, for providing a platform that's simple and compliant and very effective to keep an eye on the markets and trade the markets. So the process is like most exchanges that are on the regulated end of the scale. You fill in your details, you upload your proofs of ID and address, and then you make a deposit. Deposits can be made in Bitcoin, Ethereum, or through payment cards or bank transfers. So traders come with crypto or fiat. They buy tokenized securities. And again, we touched on this. So the non-leveraged form of the tokenized security is an ERC20 compatible token. We have a token for each underlying security. So we have a Facebook.cx token. We have an Amazon.cx token. And these are all individual tokens that you can buy and later sell on the exchange. Right now, as we've heard from a lot of the panels earlier today, there are lots of complications in directly transferring tokens and tokens that represent assets in particular between people. And so that's something that we can't fully support yet. So there are lots of emerging standards around being able to whitelist multiple parties that can then transfer securities between each other. And so that's something we're very active in participating in and looking at as a future development that will allow for these tokens to be transferred more directly between individuals rather than always having to come back to the exchange. Alongside the non-leveraged version of those tokens, you can trade with leverage. And again, you can use your Bitcoin as your collateral for that if that's what you want to do. As I mentioned briefly, Capital.com is our partner business. That's a business that's been running for 2 years. It's regulated by the FCA and by SISEC that covers both the UK and Europe with financial MiFID II regulation. And they have access to all of the capital markets. And that's where Currency.com buys the underlying securities that backs your investment in the tokenized form of those securities. And then traders sell tokenized securities and withdraw crypto or fiat. Building an exchange is no mean feat. A lot of exchanges out there have bought their technology. The technology that Currency uses has been built over 3 years and is massively scalable. We have data centers that are co-located in central London alongside all the traditional financial markets. It's in a data center called LD4, very famous for providing low latency direct connections to financial exchanges across the world. And the matching engine is very open and transparent. You can see the order book on the exchange, and you can expect to receive good fills on there. So this is just a point to say we're not technologists that are new to finance. We're people that have been in technology and finance for decades. We have lots of people in our group who have been involved in low latency systems, in very scalable systems design. And I think most importantly for the audience that we're talking to, our community, we're very focused on customer experience and really pride ourselves on striving to build the most beautiful exchange to trade the markets. A few key facts. So we're not a sort of small operation. I think that 73 employees is a little bit out of date now, but that's growing as we scale. We've got 150 assets available already. We have a plan to move to 10,000. As I said before, by the end of next month, we hope to be at 2,000 as we ramp up the investment. And I think on the longer term side of things, we're very bullish on blockchain technology. We're big believers in decentralization in general. I think it's a real challenge for exchanges that we're seeing a number of exchanges try to address about how we become more decentralized. I think it poses lots of problems around price discovery and reliable execution. And if you're more of a trader mindset rather than a long-term buy and hold investment mindset, you want to know that you can get in and out reliably. And decentralization poses some problems to that, and we're aggressively looking at how we can participate more in becoming a more decentralized exchange. Right now, in terms of our integration with the blockchain, as I mentioned, all the tokenized securities are written to the blockchain. We also publish 5-minute consolidated prices to the blockchain so that you can see for each of the assets that's being priced on our exchange what the price history has been in a very transparent and open way. And what are some of the advantages of tokenizing assets? So at the moment, we're in discussions to add tokenized bonds to the platform. And some bonds, as you may or may not be aware, are very hard to get access to. And yet bonds are a pretty safe investment in comparison with equities, for instance, and can provide a much better return on investment than putting your cash in the bank. If you happen to be in Switzerland, you'll be on a negative interest rate. If you're in the UK, like me, you'll be on sort of 0.5% if you're lucky. And bonds can provide a lot more interest on the principal invested. And I think there is a huge opportunity to continue to tokenize assets, to reduce the barrier for new entrants, and to make it easier for people to invest in smaller amounts of money to start getting access to capital markets. When we launched on the 15th of January, we had an invite-only scheme that we put out to VIPs, to people who were deep into the crypto community, and they provided us with lots of really valuable feedback, which we've been iterating and launching in the platform since. We had 120,000 people join the waitlist in the first month, which was amazing. We're quite glad that we didn't let everyone in straight away, because we would have struggled a little bit. But we've now ramped up our onboarding procedures, our document approval processes, and the waiting list is no longer. So, in conclusion, our vision is to unite the crypto and traditional assets. We've delivered on our first phase of this. I'll be delighted when we get our mobile app out this month and use that to help provide investors with a really easy, accessible way to deploy their crypto, to grow their wealth in ways that don't rely on trusting an ICO, which may or may not have technology behind it. I think there are some amazing projects out there. I've certainly lost some money on things that I've invested in the ICO world. I'm sure a lot of people around the room, looking at a couple of nods, you know, it's a tricky environment. And so we're providing a bridge between the traditional markets and what is a very exciting future. Thank you very much.